apologies for this being a little bit late. I went to the game last night, and I got pretty shit-faced. To the point where, I'm not gonna lie, it felt like half an hour. It felt like a half-hour game rather than 60 minutes. But you know what? It's perfectly fine, because Bruins friends, it is time to hug it out, because that is a 4-0 shootout against the Vancouver Canucks. Welcome back down into the den. Yeah, I went to the game with my sister last night. Had a baller time. And all I can really, I have a few notes from it because like I'm not gonna remember everything. And I'm perfectly fine with not remembering everything. It was a fun night, is what I'm trying to say there. But my sister and I, we got to the stadium. We got to the Garden like right after Marchand had scored the freaking shorthanded goal, making him ninth all time in shorthanded goal scored. Amazing, incredible job from him, and not only that, a little bit later, Danton Heinen just completely splitting the defense there. Incredible job from him. And for the entire game, really, the Bruins felt like they had the number of the Bruins felt like they had the Canucks number, and that number was 57. Oh man, Tyler Myers. Second period was a rough one for them. Bruins get the puck right in front of Thatcher Demko. A bit of a scuffle, and Tyler Myers just pokes it in front of the net and backhands it in. Oh. If only Steve Dangle was still doing Steve's Dangits, cause that Tyler, oof, Maroon, that's a dang it. And very shortly after, Zacha ends up, and by very shortly after, I mean like less than half a minute later, Zacha ends up with a pretty nice drive. Sorry. Again, I'm not only am I hungover, but also I am like tired normally. Zacha with a really nice drive, and he top shelves it right past Demko. Like, I know Thatcher Demko, amazing goalie. He might end up winning the Vezina this year, and he probably deserves it. This was one of his worst games. This was one of his worst games of the season. But at the same time, the Canucks did not offer him anything in support. Elias Lindholm is not really developing too much chemistry with Elias Pettersson. The two of them combined in 8 periods of hockey have the two of them on a line together combined have produced zero points and 0 points, and I think are a collective -8 together. God, bad line in of the two of them. That doesn't mean that either of them is a bad player. The sum of their parts, fantastic, but as a combination, they're not doing well. Well, but this is gonna go back to the Bruins for a little bit, because honestly, despite a few really weird opportunities in the slot, this was one of the best. This was one of the best games that the Bruins have played in their own zone all season, and for this to happen right after the Calgary game, where nobody had a good game, probably probably a bottom 3 game we've played all season. That game. Number 2 is probably the Detroit game. Number 2 is probably the Detroit game from the start of the season that I titled "Going Postal," and and probably the worst one is the one that we lost to the Hurricanes in that I titled "Pestilence." But this game, amazing job. I remember there was one instance where the puck is right on open space and it's in front of Omar. Basically the same. Basically what happened with Tyler Myers scoring on Thatcher Demko. We had Brandon Carlo dragging the puck out of harm's way. Hey, and my sister, she does not like Carlo. She does not like Carlo very much. And I was very much kind of pushing that, like, really, you don't like Carlo? You just did that. You don't like Carlo? Oh. But overall, fantastic game. Probably the best hockey the Bruins played all season. And Canucks, for it to be against the Canucks. Who's your daddy? Who is your daddy? This might end up as another. I mean, with the way things are going, this might end up as another Stanley Cup finals between the Bruins and the Canucks. And you know what? I am so ready to make Vancouver burn again. Burn your shit like General Sherman burned Atlanta. Cause this is fun. This is gonna be fun. And now I'm willing to grant that this was just. This was just one game. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves. Let's not put the cart before the horse on this one. And let's not count our chickens before they hatch. But still, Vancouver, who is your daddy? The Boston Bruins. And that's gonna be it for today. There really wasn't much to talk about in terms of the third period. It was more of the same. Just Bruins playing great hockey. Frederick had a pretty quiet game, but it was quietly really good. Apologies. I'll actually see what Low Qual had to say. Allmark was flawless last night. Coyle was amazing. Like, I feel like I said this in the tier list video. The great part about the majority of our offense is that you could shuffle them around any part of the top 9 and they'd be fine. But we're missing one of them. We're missing one key piece of our top 9 now. And we might as well talk about it. Matt Patra is out for the rest of the season. He is recovering. He is getting shoulder surgery, and that is going to take him out for the rest of the season. And it makes his lack of performance for the up to the All-Star break it makes it a little bit more understandable. But at the same time, it feels frustrating. It feels frustrating because it's yet another rookie that's getting jobbed today this year by injuries. We have Pavel Mintyukov in Anaheim getting broken. Connor Bedard with a broken jaw. I think Cooley, Fantilli. I think a decent amount of other rookies are having injury troubles. Patra is now out for the season. Like, at this point, Ian, low-qual Bruins fan, and I perfectly understand him saying that Brock Faber is probably gonna win the Calder now. Well, I mean, kids playing 30 minutes a night on the Minnesota defense, and that's I mean, Minnesota's defense isn't great, especially since they didn't re-sign Matt Dumba. But my God, that sucks. It really sucks. I know that Jesper Boqvist has been playing well. And I don't want him to stop. I don't want him to get out of the lineup. What I want is I want Steen to drop back down to the A and call back up. You gotta call back up Beecher. Beecher, I feel, has presented his value pretty well to this team. But whatever the Bruins do, I'm gonna be behind them. I'm gonna be cheering for them. I'm gonna be asking again, Vancouver, who's your daddy? Thank you all so much for watching. I will see you guys on Saturday. Take care.